Okay, I've been in the Army for 14 years. Prior to being in recruiting, I was in supply and logistics. I came to join the Army sort of as a family thing. I had family, my dad was in the Army, my grandpas were in the Navy. I looked at every branch, and I encourage, even though I am an Army recruiter, it may not be great for business, I encourage everybody to look at everything, look at all of your options, because we've all got kind of different things going for us. The Navy's got the water, and plenty of it, I think, and I'll say it if she comes in here too. We've all got different things to offer. I wanted to go to college, and I didn't want to be saddled with loans. I didn't want to jump right into loans. My family didn't have the money to pay for college for me, and I wasn't going to get any scholarships. I just didn't have the grades or sports or anything like that. So it would have been loans for me. I joined for the GI Bill. The Montgomery GI Bill at the time. Now there's the post 9/11 GI Bill, but I joined for the Montgomery GI Bill. Said I'll join, get my 3 years in, and get out, go to college. I'll get some experience along the way, right? Got in, started going to college right away as soon as I joined, and I stuck with it. I liked it. I really do like this job. I've been all over the world. Iraq and Afghanistan. I joined during the height of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I still like it. There's hard times, but the Army has provided a great life for me. I'm going to retire at 38 years old with pension for the rest of my life. I've got my bachelor's degree. I'm working towards a master's. When I say I'm working, I'm taking one class right now towards my master's, but I'm working towards it. I'll have it by the time I retire. My kids will be able to use my GI Bill. I'll have my pension. I'll have some other retirement that I've put away. I'll have the title of veteran for the rest of my life. To fall back on and say, add to my resume the skills and things that I've learned in the Army as well. And that's why I ended up in the Army. Was college. That's when, and I stuck around because I enjoyed it. And I said, if you don't enjoy it, move on. I always say that the Army can be a stepping stone, or it can be a path. Use it to take that first step, get out there, get some experience, because we all know that when people are looking to hire, do you have some experience? They're looking for people with experience, and the Army does that. Gives you experience in so many different things, right? Gives you experience in leadership, gives you experience, maybe in a field that you want to be in. Gives you just life experience overall, So, and every other branch will do the same thing, give you some experience, right? I'll say that the one thing that's different about the Army is that you get to choose your job. All right, we have 150 different career paths, and in the Army, it's not like, commit to the Army, join, and then find out what you're going to do, or, make a wish list, anything like that. It's say, hey, I want to join the Army. I've decided that this is the right path for me. Then you sit down and you actually pick the job that you want, and then you go and enlist in that job. Okay. I talk to people all the time and say, well, I joined this branch and I didn't get, exactly what I wanted. Well, I should have joined the Army because we could have got you. But that's why I joined the Army. So, questions?
What sets you apart from the other branches? You mentioned about the fact that each branch offers something different.
As far as sets us apart is the picking the job, and we're larger. The Army is the largest branch of the armed services, so we promote a little faster. We don't require any tests to be taken for promotion. We promote based off potential. If your leadership sees potential in you to be a leader at the next level, we will promote. So yeah, we've got the best promotion rates. We've got, and I think that's something that's great about the military also, is that, there's just unlimited upward mobility, from E1 private to a 4-star general, there's just unlimited potential. Sets us apart. the ability to move around within the organization as well. You know, you may join as a, I don't know, let's say a mechanic. You know, say that's what you choose. You want to be a mechanic. You join as a mechanic. You know, the ability to work outside of that job is not only, you know, something that you can do, but it's sort of expected. You know, like I said, I work supply and logistics, and now I'm out here in recruiting. You know, it's a broadening. It's giving me just more and more assets to you know, for myself to add to my resume. You know, 3 years in recruiting is substantial, right? I'm also a equal opportunity representative. I was trained to work in equal opportunity. You know, I can do that as well. You know, all the different things that go into it.
How important is the ASVAB score, or is it important in relation to your MOS that you choose in your?
The overall score is important. The line scores are also very important. You know, when you start talking about specific jobs, I would say that you know, a 1 and 2 point difference could be the difference in a job. I would say have confidence, you know, in it, and that there are have confidence in your in test taking abilities, you know. I guess.
How often can you take the ASVAB? Like how many times can you know, bomb it, take it again, bomb it again, and then?
So if you bomb it, if by bomb you mean now as somebody that's in high school, we say take it as many times as you can, right? You know, take it as many times as possible.
Okay.
As soon as you lock your score in through their military entrance processing station, that's your score. You know, so once you get a qualifying test score, which is you know, like a 31 or above, you lock it in, that's your score. You know, but
here at Cedar, we offer it twice a year. We offer it in November and April. And students sign up. We usually advertise it like 3 weeks out from the testing. Students can sign up then in the counseling office.
Great.
Did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Sorry, I was up in the spaghetti dinner just hanging out. I didn't know you guys had like 5 events coming up, so I think the stars align and everybody's here. I'm Master Sergeant Hollabar. I'm the local Air Force recruiter. I'm happy to be here. I love seeing families out here because you guys ask the questions. The kids, sorry, I call everybody kids. We take up to 39, they're still kids to me. The kids will just sit there, look at us. They don't have the questions. So it's good that you guys have that, and it sounds like you guys are prepared to have those questions. I've been in the Air Force for about 13 and a half years. Before coming to recruiting, I was a public health technician. So it's kind of like the CDC in the civilian sector, the Center for Disease Control. So I was medical. I wasn't really hands-on with patients. We did the background stuff, like disease surveillance, food inspections, mosquito trappings, all kind of fun stuff. Been a recruiter for about 2 years now. I'm based out of Mechanicsburg. Don't have any family nearby, but we love the area, so I'm really happy to be here. The schools are amazing. This one is really awesome. I would say pretty much the most military-friendly school that we have for sure. We put quite a few folks, all the services did last year that I saw through. So that's
One of the things we've been covering is what makes your branch unique. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Sure. It's hard when you ask that question, especially when you're with the other branches, because you know we're all one team, one fight. We all have our unique missions and capabilities and stuff like that. So never want to say you know one up and say we're best at this and they're not good at this. So we got to be careful the way we choose our words. But the Air Force is, I would say, the most. Aside from the Coast Guard, maybe we can find the Coast Guard. I would say it's.
I already said that the Navy's got water, so that,
yeah.
You know, the Navy's got the water going for them. You know, like that's
So the Air Force is the youngest service. We actually came out of the Army, but a lot of people think that we're just pilots. They think Air Force and we're pilots. So it's a common misconception, but only 4% of us are pilots. Our mission is to fly, fight, and win, aircraft, and we control the airspace and cyberspace. So that is our biggest mission, but we have a whole team and a whole crew of careers to make that happen. Anything from medical to mechanical to electronics to intelligence to cyber to administrative, we got everything under the sun. So we're not just pilots. If you remember anything today, we're not just pilots. But I mean, I would say the things I always kind of point out that would make this a little bit different is education-wise, we all have the tuition assistance in GI Bill, but we are the only branch that has a college embedded in it, created back in the 70s, a community college of the Air Force. It's originally accredited. So as soon as you come into the Air Force, you're enrolled into a two-year degree program. So you start your associates. All of our training is college accredited. So while you're learning your job, you're actually earning college credits at the same time. And that goes throughout your career with leadership training and things like that. So education is huge to us. We really push you to do it while you're in. I got my associates and bachelors within my first 6 years of active service. So a good supervisor is going to keep poking you. Like, hey, when you sign for class, when you sign for class. And it doesn't have to, it can be anything you want. I was medical, but I like business. So Air Force paid for my bachelor's degree in business. It doesn't have to do with your MLS or your AFC. And I would say another thing is the quality of life. We focus on that a lot. We get called the cheer force. We hear that. We just tend to put a little more money on ourselves and stuff like that. It's something we focus on. In the dorms, you have your own dorm room next to the dining facility, everything like that. And our mission is unique, like I mentioned. Airspace and cyberspace are our priorities. But we're all, like I said, we're all one team, one fight. We work together a lot with joint capabilities, and we couldn't do it without it. I mean, if we just had the Air Force, we wouldn't win. So it's good working with these guys and being out there and doing different things.
You just want to introduce yourself, talk about your journey?
I'm Colonel Joe Diminick. I'm a senior Army instructor for JROTC here at the high school. I think you know that. My background, how I came about into the military, I graduated from high school and went right to West Point. Graduated from West Point, was commissioned as second lieutenant in 1987. Spent almost 30 years in the Army. 14 moves, 4 children. And then ended up retiring here. I actually live in Boiling Springs, but Carlisle Barracks, the War College, was my last stop. I was the Director of Humanities Studies at the War College. Prior to that, I had taught English and philosophy up at West Point, and it just seemed like teaching was a natural fit for me. But my knowledge base, I mean, the people to my left, I would say those are the people who know a lot about each of the branches. They can tell you a lot. My knowledge base, my strength is probably focuses around ROTC programs and the academies. That's my experience in my knowledge as far as military. So it depends on what you're aspiring to do. And I would always encourage people to never think that you cannot do or achieve something, and then stretch yourself. So if you want to go, just like, well, maybe I'll go to this school, maybe I'll apply for an ROTC scholarship. Don't maybe it, because I will tell you that the Army gives out 6,000 ROTC scholarships a year, and some of those go unfilled. Penn State at University Park has unfilled ROTC scholarship positions every year. So they're out there. Academies, obviously a little bit tougher, but you've got, not only do you have West Point and Annapolis and the Air Force Academy, a lot of people forget that you have the Coast Guard Academy and the Merchant Marine Academy as well. And I will tell you that specifically, really, the Merchant Marine Academy and the Coast Guard Academy, they look for work ethic. The other academies are very academically focused. These, especially Merchant Marine Academy, if you're a hard worker, you've got a shot. So that's me in a nutshell, if you will. But I guess.
Thank you.
Petty Officer Tyndall, if you'll.
So my name is Charisma Tyndall. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm in the United States Navy. As most of y'all can see, I've been in for about 6 years. Been stationed in California. Now I'm here in Mechanicsburg. I'm on my recruiting tour. So that's pretty much, I don't know, what all do you want me to say?
How did I think one of the questions is how did you decide on the Navy? Like you have the option of all the branches. What was your journey to make that decision?
So my journey was, when I was in the 11th grade, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college. That's what I want to do. Then I got to 12th grade and I was like, yeah, that's probably not what I'm gonna do. And then I was like, well, if I don't know what I'm gonna do, that's fine, it's okay, but I can't do nothing while I'm trying to figure it out. And I figured maybe if I go and do something different, I can get some more ideas as to what I want to do. I had a cousin who, she was in the Army, and she worked really hard. The way she went in and just was aggressive with everything, made rank very fast, and she started doing real estate. I'm like, okay, like I know everybody has to make their own decisions to become that successful, but like she came from where I came from, so like there has to be something there that I can go in and do. And, you know, figure out my own way. Not gonna lie, once I found out all the branches had the same benefits, I said, all right, well, I was never going to the Army, because it's you know, Army I feel is a little more aggressive, just in my opinion, but I care for all the branches. They just, you know, it's having much. I didn't know much about the Navy, but, you know, I did get some advice, and I was like, okay, maybe that's more of my route. And so that's when I was like, all right, I'll do that. After a year of sitting around after high school, I was like, I'm gonna do that. So that's kind of how I went about doing that. And it's been good ever since. This is my second enlistment, so looking forward to some more.
More questions from parents and students?
What would you say is a detractor from that? Is there any, everything has a detractor, a negative side to everything, two sides of every coin. If you had to pick one thing, what would that be?
Like the negative part of being in
In the military, yeah, in your particular branch.
In your particular branch? Well, for the Army, you know, it's not easy, you know, you do work hard, you know, there's an expectation that you know, devote yourself to it and work hard. You know, nothing's given to you for free. You work hard for your promotions, you work hard for at your job. There's long hours, there's, you know, weekends lost, there's you're going to miss birthdays and holidays sometimes. It happens. You know, that could be a detractor from it.
Go ahead.
I would say for myself, I was trying to think while he was speaking. I'm quite sure there are some things that probably can throw me off. That I definitely have to say, just really, whatever age it is that you come in, you have to realize that what you now represent is bigger than you. Like, it's bigger than just, it's about me, it's about me, it's about, like, you have to think, like, if I'm in this uniform, I can't argue with somebody just in a Walmart parking lot, like, because I want to. Like, you have to think about how important, so when you are missing certain things, that's when you realize who's really there for you, who's gonna understand what you're going through. Like, there's two people, for me, I would say, in my life, which was my mom and my aunt at the time when I was in California. The whole family I have, now I'm back here and everybody's in my face and hey, but when I was in California, there was only two people who really understood, okay, she's in California, but she's in port or she's out to sea. So when people get that in depth and they understand they're there for you, that means something. But I definitely have to say just understanding that you now represent something that is more than you. And that's a lot to take in. So I can't really pinpoint anything because I've never had an issue with my pay, never been horribly mistreated, so.
For me, I would say, I mean, I love the Air Force, and I kind of hit on it before. You know, a lot of people don't know about us, so when I talk to even family members, or if I'm out and about in the community, they go, "Oh, it's an Army guy." I'm like, no, we're a little different, and we don't have as much history. I'm a Navy brat, so I have my own special place in my heart for the Navy. My dad retired out of it, and I love their history. their traditions and everything like that. It's really cool, and I wish I could see some of that in the Air Force. You're starting to see it now. Me being in 13 years, like the stuff when I first came in, it starts to feel more real. So I'm excited for the new generation because the stuff we're doing now, it's good to make history, but I wish that I could be a little bit more in that. So I would say for me, that's probably the one part of the Air Force.
Thank you.
When you asked that question, I immediately said, okay, my wife's upstairs eating right now. I'll go get her and I think it's, let's be frank and honest. It is a challenge for a family. I told you I moved 14 times in almost 30 years. I have 4 children. None of them went to the same high school for 4 years. So in fact, my second daughter, she went to 5 different high schools. So that was a challenge. And I think that sometimes is the toughest part. It's the family part. But flip side, my oldest daughter, she gets the itch to move every 2 or 3 years. She's like, okay, on to the next place, on to the next place. My children are very adaptable. My younger daughter, she went to 5 different high schools, but she was the one who, every time we moved, she wanted to get her bike out of the moving van, and the first time I said, where are you going? She said, I have to go make new friends. So your kids become very adaptable, they become very, outgoing is not the right word, it's not as overconfident, but it's just a lifestyle for them that they've adapted to, and the skill set that they have as far as they would always be now. Even when I went at the University of Illinois for 2 years and I lived in the civilian world, they ran across the street because there were 2 little girls over there about the same age as my 2 daughters, and they've got friends, instant friends. The other thing too, in the military community, everybody understands what everybody else is going through, and you have an incredible support network wherever you go. The times I was deployed, I had people watching out for my family. I had people doing yard work for my wife when she had a new baby. There's that sense, and it's in all the services, you take care of each other because you're all going through the same experience. And that's something that kept me in, is the people I got to work with and the sense of camaraderie that I had and developed with all those people was really special. And I'm still in contact with a lot of friends. I'm in contact with some of my cadets who graduated from West Point when I was teaching there. Now they're majors in the Army, and they're still writing me and say, hey, Colonel Dimmick, what are you up to? I just got promoted. And so they're deep relationships that you establish. So there's a flip side for every negative. There's a flip side you look at. Hey, it's a positive. So
yeah, and to piggyback, that is very true. You will meet people like, I tell people who they like the buddy system when it comes to the military. And sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, I think it's a great opportunity. I'm like, people, when I was 17, I didn't even speak to, some of these people. And it's not done purposely, but it's just you and people, you guys go separate ways. But the friends that I have from the Navy, the ones I was on those ships with when I needed to talk and there was no internet connection maybe, or, the internet went down for a few, like those people that you really turn to when it's like 1 a.m. or something. They're the only people that's there. So those bonds are not going to ever be recreated. And it is a different type of friendship when you're in the, I know for the Navy, I'm quite sure for all the military, but it is a very different type of friendship. So it's a blessing, honestly.
You go through something hard together, you form a bond. Mm-hmm. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and those people that I was in Iraq and Afghanistan with, I can pick up a phone and call any time of day, day or night, and just talk, shoot a text message, something like that, I had a guy that drives truck now, come through here, met up with him. I live in Carlisle, so I stopped in Carlisle and we met up. It was nothing. Just picked up right from there. It's yeah, you go through something difficult together, or you know, you spend time together, you build a bond, and that's something that you'll have for.
And got friends everywhere.
Yeah, and friends
Italy,
everywhere.
Japan, random places, Oklahoma.
Can you talk about basic training?
I'll let you go first.
Sure, yeah.
We want to hear your training.
All right.
It's really an oral too.
Oh, you're 6 weeks. You're
8.5 weeks.
8.5 weeks now. Wow.
Ours is 11 weeks. Basic training for us is 11 weeks. It's a week of processing, 10 weeks of training. And during the 10 weeks of training, you know, we transform you, establish a basis of fitness, teach you to be a soldier, you know, and inundate you into it. And there's a lot of yelling, you know, but it's motivation, right? We're motivating you to move faster and be stronger, do things the way that we want it done, and you know, let you know, we're also we're getting you to work as a team. So it's broken down into 3 phases: red, white, and blue. Some places call it hammer, anvil, and forge. But you know, during red phase is really building the team. You know, getting that fitness going, getting your body used to a little bit less of sleep than what you're used to. You know, getting you used to firing a weapon. You know, getting you proficient with a weapon. You know, there's a bunch of other stuff that goes into it as well. But you know, teaching you to march, teaching you to put a pack on and move with it. You know, how to build defend a fighting position, things like that. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into basic training. And at the end of it, culminating exercises. You know, kind of taking all the skills that you've learned throughout the throughout the time and putting them into practice. You know, showing that you're proficient at those skills now, and then you know, earning the title of soldier. Yeah.
Okay. So for the Navy's boot camp, our boot camp is in Chicago, Illinois. It's on like the Great Lakes. That's what the base is called. And our training is from 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes we have something called a push division, and pretty much they're just kind of fortunate enough to move a little quicker than others. For our training, not gonna lie, it's pretty calm for the most part. We do all of our working out indoors. It's kind of hard to get hurt. We do have a gun shoot, and if you pass, you pass. If you fail, you fail. We don't really spend too much time getting acquainted with a gun. We have one swim call, very minor. If you don't know how to swim, then they'll keep sending you to the pool, and then you just gotta like float, get some air in, and you know, things of that nature. But honestly, a lot of the time for our boot camp, we spend learning how to properly fold clothes, because if you're on a ship, you have to learn you got to get used to having like a limited amount of space. We'll also do drills, getting prepared for the graduation that we have. We do have one thing, not really supposed to talk about it, but one major thing at the end. It's pretty cool. Kind of get the feel for how you would be on a ship and handle certain situations. But for our boot camp, we do get 8 hours of sleep. We eat 3 meals a day. We do read a lot, as I think Colonel said. Some branches are a little more academically inclined. So you literally have this book all day. You hold the book all day. You read this book. You're not supposed to look up from the book, and you're supposed to be getting used to how the correct answers for your tests, because we have 3 tests while we're in boot camp. So it's 3 tests. Then there's a physical fitness test. If you pass that, you get like a bonus or something if you pass the first one. So we got about, with the 3 tests though, the 3 academic tests, you literally have to pass them. So we spend all day holding that book and reading and not talking and eating and running and marching. So it's pretty calm. It's nothing too aggressive.
What was you told me before, the bonus for passing your first PT test?
$2,000.
$2,000 if you pass your first PT test.
Yeah, and you start getting paid the moment you go to boot camp. So you get like 4 paychecks while you're in there, and then you get that $2,000 bonus. So, you know, a lot of young people, you're gonna go to the military, it's fine. Just when you get out of boot camp, don't be one of those people, please, in the airport with a new iPad and you have nowhere to put it. You don't know where you're going. So I know, right? So it's like people, as soon as they get out, they just start spending. But it's nice. The graduation is nice too. Boot camp is pretty calm for us. I'm not gonna lie.
So the Air Force is primarily scrapbooking and parcheesi, and I'm just kidding.
He said it.
So I mean, I tell all my guys and girls going in, you know, the first couple of days, they just horrible because you don't know where you are with people you don't know. You're getting yelled at. You're wearing civilian clothes. You're walking around and you're tired. But after that, it just becomes routine. You know, we work out every day. It's nothing crazy, no like weight training or anything like that. It's all body weight and cardio stuff. And then we, you know, practice our marching. A lot of it is in a classroom environment, actually. A lot of learning, just customs and courtesies and history and how to be an airman and how to operate in the Air Force. Just building that foundation. And really the biggest thing is just pulling that confidence out of you. And gaining independence and surviving and working together as a team because you just can't do it by yourself, and that's how we operate in the Air Force. We have wingmen. We want to be together, work together, and win. So you form some really, really tight bonds. In the beginning, you're yelling at each other and you just don't know, and then like they were talking about, it's that camaraderie. So after that, it just becomes routine. You work out, you eat, you sleep, you march, learn, and then we do have a portion in the middle called Beast Week, where they actually get to go out and, you know, sleep in tents and pretend to be in like in a deployed environment and do some obstacle courses and stuff. So the kids always come back and say they have a blast with that. And then our graduation is a huge deal. It's from like Thursday through Sunday events. So it's really, I got to see it again in recruiting school since I first went through. It's just, it re-blues you. It's just amazing. But it's a good time. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would do it. You know? But everybody comes back and they say, man, that wasn't as hard as I thought it'd be. It's probably for all the branches. It's just scary because if you don't know the military, you think of movies and TV and they over-dramatize it. So everybody comes back and says that they had fun.
It's not Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
No.
Or there's a reference that you probably it's not like that.
You're, is it still in San Antonio?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, gateway to the Air Force.
The graduation was incredible, by the way. My brother was in the Air Force.
Okay.
And so I had a much better time in San Antonio than he did. But yeah, it was pretty incredible to see that. Yeah.
That's just the middle of the summer. I mean, a little hot.
It was.
San Antonio. That part's tough.
So if there's one thing that each of you wish that you knew after joining, before you joined the military, what's that one thing?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, man.
I'll go for, you guys think.
Okay.
I will say this is for me, and my experience was unique because I went to West Point. I wish that I had developed better study skills in high school. Because one of those kids who went to high school and didn't have to work to do really well. I wish I developed better skills, study skills, note-taking skills, and everything else in high school so that to translate. I graduated high school with a 4.0. I graduated West Point with a 2.6. A little bit different animal. But, and the other thing was I became a much better student towards the end of my college career than I was at the beginning, and it's because I didn't have those skills. So that's what I wish I had. And the other thing was I wish I'd known that the professors really do want me to come to them and ask questions, because there's so often there's that, and this is for college too. Professors always want you to ask questions. I wish I had done that earlier in my academic career, because when I started doing that, when I got into my major as a junior in college, like they're always there for you, and so that would be my experience, but that was unique to me.
Okay. I've been thinking about it, and I don't know, you know, I went into it with an open mind. I did. I didn't go into it closed off to anything. I was open to everything. I was ready for an adventure, and that's what it's been for me. You know, it's always kind of been an adventure. I wish I had a little bit more personal, financial
Guidance?
guidance. Yeah, you know, because like as an 18-year-old with a bunch of money, I got a $14,000 bonus when I joined up, and they give you 10 grand of it, you know, right when you get to your first duty assignment. I was in South Korea, you know. I had nothing to show for that 10 grand. So it was just a good time. It was, yeah, you know, so be smarter with my money. Invest. Retirement. I wish I would have started investing more into my retirement early on, because now I'm playing catch up, you know. And I'm only 32, you know, but I have lofty goals, you know. And most 17, 18-year-olds aren't thinking about that. I would say think about those things and just pay your retirement like a bill. That's what I wish I would have known.
You said that. I would definitely agree with financial, more financial guidance. That would have helped, as well as the retirement thing as well. Yeah, TSB definitely. But I would say my main thing, if it was something that I wish I would have known, is how far taking initiative will take you. In my branch, in particular, can't speak for the others, but in my branch, if you just, some people are really hard workers and they get rewarded for it, right? But then you have those people where they're like the iffy types, but they always know how to just look like something's going on, right? So just knowing how to take initiative and just say, okay, I'll do it. Or take the you know, the hard jobs at times. Or if I just employ myself and then, you know, like just look, like knowing how to catch on to the system that's there. Because there's a system for everything. This branch, my branch, his branch. But in my branch, the word initiative is, if they say, hey, we need this picked up, just be the first one. Just get up. You haven't got to pick up the most. But the fact that you got up first shows that you think quick. You're quick on your feet. So if I would have known that, I'd probably be so much further.
For me, I suppose, you know, looking back, I wish I would have known, I guess, how good it was. And, you know, I always say to folks that come in a little bit older, that don't look at it as a waste, because any experience is an experience and it helps you grow and it will help you later on. But, you know, naturally, if I would have joined 3 years earlier, you know, I'd be 3 years closer to retirement. So, but I think the big thing, too, is having kids. We didn't have kids till about 4 years after I came in. And if I would have known that, just everything would have been fine. And because just the military in general, just taking care of your family, it's amazing. The benefits, most of what you have, you give to your family. So if I would have been, I wish I was more confident in that, where we could have had our kids younger, you know, but they'd be two completely different kids. So. It's hard to answer, but that's, I wish of, like I said, the financial. You just don't know how good you have it until after you've been in for a while, and you really see the benefits out of it.
I'll give you two things. You guys picked me on two things. One, talking about the benefits. My wife has rheumatoid arthritis. She has to take a Humira shot every 2 weeks. Those Humira shots are about $3,000 a pop. We pay a copay of $30 for each one. My oldest daughter is a diabetic. She was diagnosed as, she's an insulin-dependent diabetic since she was age 4. She's now age 20.
This is on camera.
Wait.
We're recording.
She's 28. Okay. I know how old you are, hon. She's 28. But I will say that the Army assigned me to places where my daughter could be cared for. They sent me to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, so I could go to the University of Kansas. She could be seen there. When they sent me to Fort Drum, New York, in the middle of upstate nowhere, New York. They sent us to University of Syracuse Medical Center for care. They paid for her insulin pump. You know how much an insulin pump is? About $10,000. We got that for free. So for my family, the medical benefits, if I could add that to my income, that was huge for us. The other thing, the financial literacy piece, I totally agree. I started saving when I was a lieutenant, and it's paid off. And here's a plug for JRTC. Just a big part of JRTC, the LET 4 is financial literacy and personal finance, and it looks like they're going to let me teach a LET 5, which is going to be entirely financial literacy. So it's a good, sorry about that, I had to take the plug.
No, that's actually, now that he brought it up, like, it's really true. I think the thing that gets me, I mean, I don't have any kids, but the thing that gets me is the fact that if you like really do join and you make that decision and you're married to someone, they literally, like, their spouses, there's, wives and husbands, they don't even work. They don't have to worry about their rent being paid. They don't even have, they're maybe a stay-at-home parent or whatever. But the fact that they're literally like, okay, you're in this state, this is the natural cost of living, your whole family, their rent is paid, and then the benefits as far as the medical, because to bring it up, like in the Navy, we have a system, it's called HUMS or something like that, HUMUS, something of that nature. And if you do have a family member who is sick, you can only be located to where that family member can get taken care of. I feel like that's amazing. I have a coworker that deals with that now. He was supposed to leave, but they couldn't get him a slot to where his daughter would get the proper care. So now he's here. So you just really got to know how to get yourself in the best situation. Because there's so many different outlets. A lot of people think that it's, oh, get up. No, they say you're going here, you're going there. No, like, if you let them know this is the situation, we need this, we need that, they're going to take you into consideration. Like, the military is, what you're in is bigger than you, but they know that family is what's most important. They know you can't function. When we're out to sea and people have family members that pass away, once that Red Cross come through, you're out of there. Like, they're going to fly you off. You're going to where you need to. So people think that it's like, people who don't know, they lose out on staying stuck, in a mindset. They could just ask questions. Like, this is great, and I wish there was more people here. I know people may think, oh, no, they're not telling the truth. I don't have a reason to lie, but it's like they literally will take care of you. So that's the best part about it, honestly.